In today's video, I spent 100 days in The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Saints and Sinners is an open-world VR survival game where you scavenge for supplies, fight rival factions, and survive the undead. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like and subscribe. With that being said, let's survive 100 days in The Walking Dead VR. The game starts with a simple tutorial and a black void. This shows you your knife, gun, flashlight, journal, and backpack. And these are your main elements of your inventory. The game starts with this dude, Henri, telling us about the war in New Orleans. With two factions fighting, you are unaligned. With a simple boat ride, he tells you that you are on your own and you must fight to survive. And with the quick title card, the game officially starts. The first weapon I started off with was a screwdriver, so it was not that strong, and it was pretty hard to actually take out the first zombie. I was eventually able to take out the zombie, and I also quick started with an axe. It was super easy to find. It was just behind this one gate, and starting with the sharp two-handed weapon was super nice. I next found Henri, and he was hanging from a tree. That was bars. Oh my gosh, dude, did you hear that? That was bars. Anyways, by the time I got there, he was already turned, so there was nothing I could have done to help him, and I just took him out because I knew, well, he'd attack me later, so I might as well take him out now. I quickly after arrived at the bus. This bus would act as your main base of operations. It's where you're able to store all your items, craft items, and sleep. For the most part, the graveyard is safe. If you wander out too far, then yes, there will be a couple zombies, but for the most part, you're good. Inside of the bus, there was a revolver and knife to start off with, which it's nice to start off with a gun. It feels like a lot of these games, you have to work super hard to get a gun, but for this, you can instantly just get a gun. My first task on the journal was to repair the radio, but before I did that, I slept to the next day. I woke up on day 2 with a couple of items, just a little bit of ammunition and food to get me going, and I took my boat over to the shallows. This would be the first location, and this is where I need to find the microphone for the radio. I also want to mention this little black ring thing around the screen I'll eventually get rid of. Very soon I'll figure out how to get rid of it, so don't worry about that. I came across this woman here. She wanted something from me, and I'm like, not really. She noticed my watch, which it's kind of nice that she respected the drip. You know, she already saw the diamond watch, so that was definitely, I think, the best part. But she gave me this key so I could unlock a room inside the blue place. That's just what it's called, but it's a blue mansion down the street. I went down the street a little ways, taking out the zombie with a glass bottle. Pretty cool, you can break a glass bottle and then kill a zombie with it. I don't know, it's just a little feature there. I had to climb up this pipe and get into the window, and this is where I would place the key that the stranger gave me. Her husband turned into a zombie, so I had to take him out. That's what she wanted me to do. But I got the wedding ring and also this little note thing. But let's be honest, nobody cares. The main reason why I came up here was to get the double barrel shotgun. It is already only day 2, and I already have some pretty solid weapons. I tested out the double barrel with 2 shots, and I was already out. I actually have no clue why I even shot this. I have no more ammo left, so I ran out of ammo there, and I gave her the wedding ring. I lied, and I just said, I'm glad I could help. I could have told him the truth. He capped his boys, but, you know, that's just how it goes. More importantly, though, she gave me the safe code, and I almost forgot the reason I even came here. I was supposed to get the microphone for the radio, so I made sure to get that. I also entered the safe code at the bottom floor. This would allow me to unlock the 9mm. This is better than the revolver, but the problem is it's worn down, so it's kind of just, it's a little iffy on how durable it is. If guns are worn down, that means it can jam a lot, so you're gonna need to watch out. If you're in a sticky situation, you cannot fully rely on your guns, so you're gonna need to constantly change them out for new ones. So I swapped out the revolver for my 9mm. As I got outside the blue house, I got attacked by a huge amount of zombies, and I tried to fight them with a crowbar. I got down to super low health, like no stamina left, and I knew I was pretty much dead. I ran as far as I could, but unfortunately I got caught at the last second. And since I died, I was gonna need to respawn back at the boat. If you die without getting your loot back, that means you lose all of it. So I was gonna need to get that back. I was fortunately able to get it and was able to return back to the boat. I then returned to the bus and just slept for the night. I started day 3 by recycling some items that I collected. With my newly acquired resources, I went to the crafting benches and I found a National Guard knife. I thought this might be useful, so I decided to build it. I next put in the microphone and the radio was complete. I changed it to channel 61 and was finally able to make contact. There was this dude Casey on the other line. Also, I gotta mention, I hit the cleanest gritty. No one has ever hit the gritty in VR, alright? I'm just gonna say it, alright? It's probably, they probably have, but they have not hit a clean gritty like me, alright? So, I'm just here to put that out there. While I was talking to Casey, there was this loud noise, and there was like some birds and a light and everything, so I had to check it out. Over by the light post, there was this picture that I needed to go to. This meant I had to go through the catacombs and worry about these zombies. This is the part I was talking about. If you go further into the graveyard, you're gonna notice zombies are everywhere. So you do have to kind of be careful, but for the most part in the graveyard, you're good. And unfortunately, when I got up top, my 9mm broke. So I was gonna need to switch back to the revolver. I went to the spot on the drawing, and I was able to unlock a key. This key unlocks a gate where the light was. And in the gate behind the grave, there was a drawing that I needed to go to. This was gonna be my next objective. So I went to the boat and traveled to Via Corolla. I noticed there were a bunch of guards outside, so I was gonna have to watch out. I eventually found the fountain that I needed to go to, and I had to make my way past some tripwires, so I grabbed this gas canister that was right next to it. I threw it over the fence and was able to take out a guard and eliminate all the tripwires. I took out another guard with my pistol and was able to collect all the loot that I needed. Inside the fountain there were some sticky bombs, so I decided to use those on a couple enemies. I collected some meds and made my way back. Once I got back, I returned all the intel to the grave. I recycled the items that I collected, and I upgraded the gun station to level 4. And I also decided to craft another revolver because by this point my revolver was getting super low on durability. I went back to the bus and was ready to accept Casey's mission, and I also accepted the tomb in the tower mission, but I wasn't going to do that first. I was going to do Casey's first. So I traveled to Memorial Lane. Once I got there, I was able to talk to a tower member, and he wanted me to get his brother back, which meant I had to go over to a rival faction and try to negotiate his release. They had him captured, and I tried my best to try to get him out of that situation, but the music was getting like super intense, and he was super mad at me, so I didn't really know what to do, so I shot him with the revolver. I had a feeling they would fire back anyway, so I decided I might take the first shot and see how far I can get, and I was getting super low on health, but fortunately I was able to take out all the enemies. So I was successful in bringing back the brother. So there was some ammunition, bandages, and the main thing that I needed, which was the pump regulator, and with that I was able to get out of there. I then went back to the bus and told Casey that I got the regulator that I needed, and I went to sleep. On day 5, I told Casey the serial number on the back of the pump flow regulator. After giving the serial number, Casey gave me the full password. I pressed the red button and I was good to go. Next, I went through the catacombs to try to go through the church gate, and this is where I would meet May. May was the person giving me the missions throughout the entire time, giving me through the grave where I have to go back every single day to check up on the new mission or whatever. So this time she actually met me in person for a mission that I had to do. So I now had May's mission to do, but more importantly, I was going to do Casey's first. So I had to kill a nearby zombie and cover myself with its guts. This meant I could sneak past all the zombies and put the pump flow regulator in. I next went to the ward and had a shootout with the tower. During the shootout, I got super low on health, so I decided just to back off and just return back to the base because there was just no point of fighting. I knew I was going to die again if I kept shooting, so yeah, I just decided to cut my losses and go back to base. Once I got back, I finally leveled up the gun station, and I was now ready to craft the bolt action rifle. The bolt action is like one of my favorite guns in this game. It's super fun. I think it's probably just because of like the Car 98 from like COD Zombies or something. I'm not really sure, but it could also just be the abundance of ammo and how strong it is. This is especially strong against just normal humans and armored soldiers. On day 6, I tried a new method, which was throwing a propane tank straight through into the enemies and shooting it. It worked out very well, causing a huge distraction and me able to take out a bunch of guards. I was eventually able to take out all the enemies that I needed to and was able to get the objective item, as well as the blueprint for the lever action rifle. I tried out the lever action rifle and I was not too good with it. It's actually pretty decent. I just was super panicked and I don't even know what I was doing here, but yeah, I took a ton of damage and I eventually died. But I was able to get my loot back and return back to base. And the last thing I did for day 6 was get a new revolver and drop off the intel. Day 7, I collected the info from the grave and I went to the Bywater. This is a new location that I haven't been to yet, and I had to take out some zombies by shooting them in like the stomach, and they would push them back and then be able to shoot them with the revolver. Zombies are not able to get killed by shooting them anywhere but the head, so the only thing that shooting them in the body would do is just kind of stagger them. So once I killed the zombies, I was able to go into the warehouse and get the second pump regulator. And after getting what I needed, I headed back. And since the durability was low, I crafted a new bolt action. Day 8, I did the exact same code as I did for the first one, and I had to take out some human enemies instead of the zombies. And this is where I placed the second pump regulator. There was only one to go now. Next, I went to Old Town to try to look for the drawing. I tried to find this little shed next to the house, and I had a gunfight. It was actually pretty tough. I got down to super low health, but fortunately, I was able to take out the enemies and get the intel that I needed. Once I got back, I recycled the items that I collected and put the booklet in the grave. Day 9, I went to the shallows and had to get into this highly secure building. This was the same blue mansion as the start, and I tried my best, but I played really stupidly. I really don't know what I was doing, and I got killed. So I used the bat to get back in. I got my loot, collected the intel, and came back to the bus. I also was finally able to make the 9mm, which meant I could finally replace my main pistol from the revolver to the 9mm. Once more, I leveled up my gun station, and I was slowly but surely getting to the max level. Day 10, I took Casey's next mission. I had to go to the high school, and once I got there, I found this dude who was laying on the ground, and he was pretty much done. There was nothing he really could have done. He was injured. He was already going to turn into a zombie, so I took him out. Dude, that's what he wanted me to do, okay? So it's not even like... Anyways, whatever. Alright, I got the key, the hidden room key that I needed. I also want to mention that Rampart, which is this location, is easily one of the scariest. It's super dark. You have to walk through the hallways. You don't know if a zombie will just randomly attack you. So you definitely have to be careful. And once I got back, I finished Casey's mission. Day 11, I went to the Bywater, and I was kind of just killing time. I was just kind of waiting for nighttime. So I don't even really know what I did. I just grabbed some stuff and left. I went by the church and talked to May again. And once I was done with that, I completed her mission as well. All I needed to do was talk to her. So yeah, it was a very easy mission. The next day, I used the hidden room key to unlock this little vault area. This place was extremely stacked on loot. It had an M4, a shotgun, and a 9mm. And by this point, I haven't used the M4 yet, and Yeah, it was bad, man. I missed every shot, point blank, by the way. But we're not going to talk about it. Eventually, later on, you will see I got super good with the M4. So we're just going to ignore this. Once I got back, I upgraded the weapon station to level 9. This meant my overall weapon damage was increased. On day 13, I was going to go get the last pump regulator that I needed. Arriving at the Bastion, I found this house with a bunch of spotlights. It was pretty quick to tell that this was the place that I needed to go. And upstairs, there was this guy who just gave me the pump regulator right away. So, that was pretty easy. And I also took him out because I don't even know why I took him out, but thankfully I did because the tower was right outside. The tower basically wanted me to kill him anyways, so I don't really know what would have happened if I didn't. But I feel like I did the right choice, maybe. Anyways, I got the last thing I needed. I returned back to Casey, and now all the spotlights were on. This was now going to be the last part of the main story. I got into a shootout, but thankfully the tower was on my side ever since I killed that dude in the building. So I basically only had one side to deal with. I was able to take him out and get into the church. After getting into the church, I had no choice but to flood the entire building, which meant the entire reserve that I was looking for this entire time was just going to get flooded and I was going to lose all the loot. And once I got down to where Casey was, May was about to ring the bell and alert all the zombies. This would mean everyone would get killed, so I took out May, which was pretty much what I had to do. It was either she was going to ring it and all the zombies would come and kill us all, or I took out May. One thing Casey told me is that there were some remnants of the reserve left, so I went down there to see what I could find, and there were 2 shotguns down there. These were insanely good shotguns. I made sure I grabbed it. I got everything I possibly could and headed back out. And with that, I went out the door, took a boat ride, and that was the end of the main story. And after the main story, it skipped another week ahead. So I was now on day 20. But don't worry, the game is not over. There is still DLC to finish, and that was what I was going to do right away. So for the DLC, I had to go to Bywater, and this was guarded by a bunch of guards. So I snuck around the back and used my shotgun. This is the one I got from the reserve, and it's extremely strong. You don't even need to be super precise. Just aim in the general direction, and you should be able to take out the enemy. And also keep in mind that these guys are fully armored, and it was just ripping through them. After taking out a couple enemies, I was able to get the AR blueprint, as well as a key. I was at the office that I needed to get to, but I didn't have the right key, so I wasn't sure what to do with this one, so I just headed back. I would eventually have to look up what I would have to do, so I'm sorry for quote-unquote cheating, but whatever. Once I got back, I crafted an AR and a bunch of 5.56 ammo, and I also fully upgraded my gun station, which meant I could now craft as many shotguns as I wanted to. And once I got the AR, I kind of just... I don't even... your boy went full Russian, alright? Or no Russian. Not full... You know what I mean?
Man, shut your...
So after jumping over this fence, I found the place where I needed to put the key, which allowed me to get another key, which I brought back to the office. And this allowed me to get the box that I needed. And it was full of loot. It was completely stacked full of loot. So I tried to get as many supply boxes as I possibly could. And once I had a full backpack, I went back to base. I recycled all the boxes, and I was now looking at the katana, which is what I wanted to get next. Day 23, I went to Rampart. I cleared out some of the guards. I got the medical supplies they were guarding. And I tried my best to look for the remnants of the reserve, but I couldn't find it, so I just came back. Day 24, I went to the Bywater, and I got some supplies, but that was about it. I kind of scavenged around to see what I could find, and I came back to upgrade the gear station. I got it all the way up to level 6, which meant I got deep pockets. This meant I could carry 2 primaries on my back, and I also get 9 more slots in my backpack. This was something I should have got a long time ago, but I just now got. Day 25, I got some more Nutri-Stew. I got a safe password, and that was really about it. I was able to level up my gear station, but it was not a very eventful day. There was nothing really special. I started day 26 with a bag. I mean, y'all brokies cannot relate. I just had stacks of cash. I know you guys cannot relate, but anyways, I went to the safe, I entered the code in, I got this hand thing, I don't even know, it's like Wolverine claws. I actually really do not like this thing, especially against armored zombies. I feel it's pretty hard to do, and I feel like there are so many better melees you can use, and by the end of the day, I did not have enough resources to upgrade. Day 27, I found the resource cache in Rampart. I kind of just skipped over it, but I just had to look around the building for it. There were bandages, boxes, heals, everything, so I just tried to get as much stuff as I possibly could and head back. And at the end of day 27, I crafted an AR and 5.56 ammo. Day 28, I went to the ward, and this is one of the best stashes so far. There was tons of ammo, tons of boxes, so I made sure to collect all of that. And I came back. I know I'm skipping over a lot of this stuff, but a lot of it's just going to the mission area, getting the supplies, and heading back out, so there's not really much to add. And once I got back, I finally fully upgraded the gear station. This meant I could finally unlock the katana, as well as protective gear, which can protect you from headshots and body shots. So going up against humans will be less dangerous, and it'll take a lot less damage. I do of course have ammo for other guns, but I like the AR the most, so I thought I might as well put all my resources into AR-15 ammo. Day 29, I started the next mission of the Remnants of Reserve DLC. This time I had to go to the Bastion. I had to clear out this main house area. I'm gonna be honest, I think the Bastion's my least favorite area, just because there's not much going on. There's just one main house, and there's not a lot of zombies. There can be some humans sometimes, but a lot of times it's pretty barren, so it's just kind of boring. Once I got up to the second floor, before, there was this locked door which I had to blow up with an explosive. So I went over to another small house where there was explosive. I brought it all the way over, blew it up, and was able to get into the door. And behind there was the reserve cache that I needed. This had a bunch of medicine, boxes of supplies, and nail bombs. The nail bombs were pretty interesting. I like them. They're like impact grenades, but I'm not good with them. I blew myself up. It was literally like 2 seconds after I got him, I blew myself up. I was trying to kill an enemy down the stairs, and whatever. Anyways, I got my loot back. I got on the boat and went back to base. After finishing this mission, I was now able to unlock the improved flashlight. This flashlight was so much brighter, and it also had a UV option, which was going to be essential for the next mission. And I also got a sword. It was pretty much a reskin of what I already had. I don't even know how I got this, but it just ended up on the, I don't know, it ended up in the weapon station, so I don't know how I got there. On day 30, I crafted a bunch more 5.56 ammo, and I went to Old Town, and I got this little drawing where I had to go, but it was very confusing. I found a triangle with the UV light, so I don't know what I was doing. I was looking all around. I looked at this weird, like, drawing on the walls. I don't even know what this is, and I also found a floating car. This definitely is the most cursed place I've been to so far. I don't know. And of course, the next day I had to look up where I had to go because I had no clue. I'm sorry. It was like right at the start, right at the beginning. The boat is right there, and there's just a key there. How would I know this? All right, I'm not a rocket scientist, so I had to look it up. Day 32, I had a shootout with some tower guards, and eventually they did take me out, so that kind of sucks. But the reason why I was here is because this is where the reserve was, and I tried my very best to collect everything I possibly could and get out of there. Once I got back, there were people at the bus. So I ran throughout the graveyard trying to find them, and I found this stash of loot. This was one of 3 that I had to collect. So since they weren't there, I went all the way through the other side of the graveyard, and I found 4 guards that I had to take out. It was pretty easy to take them out, but once I got back to the bus, I got really freaked out that there were people there. After taking out all the guards, there was this stranger there, and he had my sleeping flask. Since they stole that, he just gave me that for free, and I made my way back to the bus. Day 33 was the showdown mission. I knew this instantly was going to pop off because there was just loud music, intense music right away. So this is where I was going to have to retrieve all my loot from, and both factions now want to take me out. Instead of fighting each other, they were only going for me. So I had to take out a bunch of guards. I checked both houses, got a ton of loot, and eventually made my way back, but it was definitely the most intense part so far. So I recycled all the supplies I got, and I found this safe, but I didn't have the code yet, so it was just gonna stay here. Day 34, I went to this house, and I had to put 3 keys in, and also I found the code that I needed for the safe the day previously. So this is just by luck finding this code. And also I had to look this up, because how was I gonna know that I needed to put 3 keys in random places, like behind the bed and stuff like that? There's no chance. After putting in the 3 keys, it allowed me to access the bunker, and I found this like huge suit of armor. This was actually like gonna be like the Axeman person. I don't know. There was not much down in the bunker, but with that being done, I completed the DLC. I got this creepy statue. I actually don't know why I brought this. Thing has got to be cursed, but I got it, and I finished off the DLC. Once I got back, I entered in the safe code by the jazz players. This would allow me to get explosive arrows, and I crafted a compound bow, crafted all the explosive arrows as well as just normal arrows. And the last thing I did was craft some more 5.56 ammo. Day 35, I completely forgot to record, so it's just a black screen. And from this point on, there was no real mission. It was just trying to collect as many things as I possibly could. You know, just looking around, trying to find caches and stuff. So on day 36, I found a weapons cache. And I guess the main thing for day 37 is there were some guards by the bus. And I took out the 4 enemies with absolute precision aim, might I add. But that was about it. Day 38, I crafted more 5.56 ammo. I went to Via Corolla because there was some extra loot there. I got some loot, I got a food cache, and I also took this person's head off. So I'm gonna, you know, blur it because I don't want to get demonetized. All right, so you know. The next day, I found a weapons cache, and I recycled all the stuff I got from that. Day 40, I found a medical cache. I threw out some of the extra bandages that I didn't need, and recycled a lot of that. Day 41, I took out some patrols by the shallows. I tried to look for any caches that I could find in there, but unfortunately, I couldn't find any. Day 42, I went back to the hidden room, and I didn't know these things would actually respawn. I thought they were going to be a one-time deal, but every time you go back, they respawn, which meant I could get a lot more shotgun and rifle parts. Once I got back, I realized that I was missing a couple crafting recipes, so that was what I was going to go for next. Day 43, I climbed up this wall and rampart, and I completely went past the recipe that I was supposed to get. I didn't know if there was anything here. This was a place that I knew of, and I wasn't sure if there would be anything there, which there was, and I just completely ran past it, so I'd have to come back here later. Day 44, I gave this person food, and as I started chasing her down with the katana, she ran away, ran right into a zombie, and got killed. Goofy. But I got a food cache as well as a weapons cache and headed back. And once I got back, crafted even more 5.56 ammo. By day 45, I had 400 shotgun shells. And I also went up to this safe where I got the esteemed mortal melee weapon. And I actually really hate this thing. Maybe it's good, but from my experience, I think it's terrible. Especially going against enemies with armor. You're not able to do like any damage. And I also got a medical cache. The next day, I cleared out the blue house in the shallows. And I also got the weapons cache in the garage. I crafted the esteemed mortal because at this point, I haven't tried this out yet. And I would soon find out that I would not like like this thing at all. Day 47, I went to Via Corolla, and this is where I test out the Esteemed Mortal, and this is when I knew I'm not going to use this. It just kept hitting the helmet, and I feel like the katana is far better. So if you're later in the game, I recommend not using this. I got some ammunition, picked up a medical crate, and I just put up the Esteemed Mortal on the wall. It was just now going to be a decorative piece. I'm not going to use this thing. Day 48, I got a food cache, and I also checked on my resources, and I had quite a few resources. The only thing I was really missing were rifle frames. On day 49, I found another weapons cache, and also my aim with the AR was getting absolutely precise. Your boy was beaming. On day 50, I got another crafting recipe. This was for food, and if we're being honest, food is kind of just a reskin. A lot of them are, I feel like. Some of them do give you different buffs, but for the most part, it does the same thing. It gets your food up, gets your stamina up, so pretty much the same thing. Day 51, I went back to Rampart to get the recipe that I missed, and with that, I only needed one more recipe left. On day 52, I didn't know you could open this, but there's a refrigerator with the final recipe that I needed. And with that, I completed all stations, all max level, and all the recipes completed. On day 53, I just slept through it because there was no missions I could do, so I thought I might as well just skip it. And also, look at your boy's unspoken Riz on day 54. I mean, she low-key want me, alright? Okay, well, then I did. Anyways, after that, I went to the Bastion on day 56. I took out some guards, grabbing their broken shotguns, and also getting a medical cache. On day 57, I got a weapons cache, and the next day, I collected some more gun parts. I was trying to get a bunch more rifle frames. On day 59, I just got some random resources that I found, and there were no caches, so, yeah. Day 60, I found this writing on the wall. I used the UV light, and it was just some spooky text, so, yeah. On day 61, I used some sticky bombs to take out an entire squad, and after taking them out, I collected all the loot, and also got another medical cache. Day 62, I full auto'd the zombie, and the day after that, I got a medical cache at Rampart, and also crafted more 5.56 ammo. Day 64, I just got some random loot here and there. I helped out a stranger in return getting a box, and also took out a squad with a shotgun and getting all the loot from it. Day 65, I got a food and medical cache, and I also got another compound bow. Day 66, I just grabbed a bunch of random loot. That was really about it. I recycled it when I got back, and that's about it. Day 67, I got a fresh 9mm, so that was nice. And on day 68, I took out a squad with my AR, as well as a weapons cache. On day funny number, I took out a squad. And also, I'd really like to talk about the atmosphere of this game. It's, especially in this area, especially in Rampart, it's so dark. You hear these weird noises. You'll hear these random ambient noises, which kind of reminds me of Minecraft. It's like, literally, once you're playing Minecraft, you hear those noises. It's literally the scariest thing ever. But just the overall atmosphere of this game is pretty much like no other game I've played before. I don't know if it's just because it's in VR or what, but it's super good. Day 70, I took out a patrol squad. And also by this point, I was at about 1,700 bullets, and this is only for the AR, so I was pretty much stacked. I was not going to need to worry about ammo anymore. Day 71, I took out some more enemies and got some supply boxes. Once I got back, I had like one weird doll thing, and I decided to collect all 7. They're all over the graveyard, and they're pretty easy to find. I don't know why I did this, but it was just something to do, I guess. And since there were no events on day 72, I just skipped the day. Day 73, I took out some zombies, and that was really about it. I got some loot, but that's it for the most part. Day 74, I went to the shallows to take out some patrols, got some spare loot, and recycled it. Day 75, I got ambushed by a bunch of enemies, so I took them all out. There was not only one, but 2 squads in there, so I took out both of them. Day 76, I got a whole quad feed. I threw a propane tank, and a bunch of enemies exploded it and killed all of them. Day 77, I took out another patrol, and I helped this guy, and then I shot him, so I'm getting my loot back. You're not taking my loot. Day 78, I took out a whole squad with an explosive arrow and completely mowed down another squad. And on day 79, I did the exact same tactic by giving someone something, them giving me something, and then taking them out because I'm getting my loot back. And from day 80 to 95, I'm pretty much just going to skip. It was just taking out more enemies, looting, getting supplies, stuff like that. So I'm just going to skip over it. Day 96, I had a propane tank in my hand and blew up. The guy shot my propane tank and I died. I don't know why I kept around so long, but I was trying to attempt another quad feed and it did not work out well. So I had to go back, get my loot, and then take out the enemies. Day 97, I was taking out a squad, and I got super low on health. I was successfully able to take them out, but I was on too low a health, so I just headed back. The next day, I took out another squad, got their loot, that's about it, and I actually skipped day 99 because I was ready for the horde. I didn't need to do another day of looting, so I thought I might as well just skip it. Day 100, I looked at everything that I got. I got heals, food, things like that. Crafted a bunch of bombs, made sure my entire backpack was filled with bombs. Okay, wait, that sounds bad. Hold on. Alright, that's not what I meant. Like, whatever. So I went to Via Corolla because this was probably my favorite spot. I don't know why. It could just be the lighting, could be the buildings. I'm not really sure why, but this is one of my favorite spots in the game. So I decided to just hide on top of this building until the horde arrived. And slowly but surely, the zombies were here. I took out some of them with my AR. And I eventually got off the roof to try to find more. I threw a sticky bomb at one of the zombies, and the zombie was too close, and I took myself out. So, yeah. And I checked my watch, and the horde reset, so I was not going to be able to do it again. And I just thought, whatever, I'll just give it up. I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to wait, like, 25 minutes just for the horde. And with that, I looked over everything I had. I looked over all my weapons, materials, stuff like that, and these weird little doll things I collected on the way. And yeah, that was the end of day 100 and the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like and subscribe, because most of you are not subscribed. And we also hit 10,000 subscribers, so I thought I might as well add that in. I'm not really going for another goal. I'll figure it out once we get there. And also, I'm kind of sick at the end here, so if the last couple days sound kind of weird, you know why. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.